Welcome to the Q1 report with the plant-based food company Veg of Lund. And I am pleased to welcome CEO Fredrik Carling. How do you do, Fredrik?
Thank you very much, Matthias. Just fine, thank you.
Great. During our last interview a quarter ago, you said that we would be seeing some new revenue streams during the first quarter in 2023, and you proved yourself right. Net sales amounted to 1.8 million Swedish kronor compared to 0.5 in the first quarter 2022. And at the same time, your loss decreased by 50% to about minus 8 million Swedish kronor. You're on the right way.
It definitely feels so. When we talked last, then we had just kind of exited some preparatory work to start implementing the strategy that was laid out last year. And now we're starting to see the first result of that. And I think, you know, we have an increase in net sales of 400%, and doing that at half the cost of operating is definitely a confirmation on that we have started the journey of the new strategy, which is obviously to expand internationally and make sure that our product portfolio gets to be used in more countries and more places than it is today, but do it at a controlled cost for the company. So I'm quite happy with what we were able to achieve in this early on in the year.
Yeah, I understand that. About 45% of your net sales came from your new market, Switzerland. Can you tell us what's going on in Switzerland with your partner Migros?
Yeah, and it's a great example of the new strategy, actually, which is to expand internationally. In this case, we've chosen to do it directly with a large-scale retailer. I mean, Migros is the leading retailer in Switzerland, and it's going really well. They, together with us, have really taken Dug potato drink into their heart, so to speak. They believe in it. They have exposed it fantastically well in the stores. They have, together with us, contributed to making a dent in consumer awareness around the product. So we're now somewhat 2-3 weeks into the launch, and they are also on track with continuous replenishment. So that is an example of how we would enter a market, do it not on our own, but do it with partners that have strength and credibility, and build from that. Because the effect is, Matthias, is that once other people in Switzerland, but also in Europe in general, start seeing success is when they get attracted, and rather than us contacting potential partners starts contacting us for opportunities.
Sounds like great takeaways from that cooperation. Are there any other discoveries that you have made?
Well, I think that is the key one, is that you need to make a start somewhere, and you need to make that start qualitatively. And when you do, it starts stirring up interest in other places. If we take Switzerland as an example, already now we are in discussions with potential distributors, hotel restaurant chains partners, food manufacturing potentials. So if you need one to get the ball rolling, so to speak, and that's what's happened in Switzerland. But also, when you look at the European market, so to speak, many of these obviously have an eye on each other. So when someone moves in a certain direction, others become interested to follow the progress of that. So we have really intensified the amount of discussions that we have in Europe with regards to Dug potato milk at the moment.
Okay, so when we're at that, could you give us an update on Germany and Denmark, for example, as well as Thailand?
Well, Germany and Denmark, two good examples, different business models that we apply. In Denmark, we are now launching shortly with Salling, which again is one of the leading retail chains in Denmark. So hopefully it gives us the same effect in a way that it's given us in Switzerland with Migros, which is opening doors to other partners in Denmark. For the time being, we're also choosing to do that direct in Denmark. It's close by, it's easy to manage. We can do that at very low cost. In Germany, as I've talked about before, we use the business model of working with a distributor, someone who manages the business for us. And there's various discussions ongoing to do a similar exercise, if you like, as we have done in Switzerland, are planning to do also in Denmark. In Thailand, we moved to a different place of our approach, which is a license-based business model. And actually, over the Easter week, we had the visit from the management of the one licensee that we've come furthest with, which is based in Thailand. They were here. We discussed tech transfer, how to produce, how to locally market potato milk, which is what is in question. And I'm looking forward to launching with them in not too distant future.
Okay, and it's great with all these new markets, but what about the two markets that you first set off in, meaning Sweden and the UK?
It's a good point, because as we're expanding internationally, we need to make sure that we capitalize on the work that we have done in the UK and in Sweden to date. What's becoming really visible is where does the opportunities lie? And where are maybe less opportunities? And what I really want us to do is focus on where we have growth potential, where the clear opportunities are. And in UK, it's becoming clear that the best opportunity, which is also reflected in the results, is in food manufacturing. So we will spend more energy on making sure that that part of the business grow. In Sweden, the biggest opportunity is actually more on a product split, if you like. So the smoothie that we launched back in November, we're adding new taste to it now for summer, which is a mango taste, quite typical for the summer. And that is the product that will probably push hardest in Sweden in the foreseeable future.
Okay, and what are the main reasons that you are high in demand on within food manufacturing?
I think what we learned both from the existing customers that we have that increase their forecasts ongoingly, but also new conversations that we're having now is a number of things. One is many are looking for plant-based alternative to dairy to put in their ready food meals. And when they do so, sustainability is a key. They get that from quite a few plant-based alternative. We are in the top of that league. But what they also get from us is the allergen-friendly approach. So the fact that they don't need to think about gluten, soy, lactose intolerance, and so forth, what they put in. But from a taste perspective, which obviously is key in food, the neutrality of our taste. So some of our colleagues, when you put their products into meals, it gives quite a taste of that milk alternative. And ours is quite neutral. So sustainability, the allergen friendly, which we are unique with, and then the fact that they can blend it into food and dishes without actually having to cover up a taste, because our product is quite neutral in taste. Those are the key elements that drives that business.
Yeah, and speaking of cooking cream, etc., how is your product portfolio developing?
It's developing well. As you know from before, we moved forward with getting the patent approved for the milk alternative in Europe. So that's a great tick box and signal to the fact that we have something unique. What we're doing is let's put it into slightly different categories. One is that we're expanding on the non-dairy, so to speak, or the dairy alternative segment. So what we have found is that as we come to market with the milk, they're also looking for great product, but what about cooking cream? What about whipping cream? What about crème fraîche and so forth? So we are expanding the segment under the Doug brand with new products, and we're hoping to launch that already at the end of this year to market. We are also continuing the work with the plant-based meat that we've been working on, the white and the red meat. And one quite important difference, which is relatively recent, is that all of that work has been done in partnership with Scandi Standard. And we continue to work with Scandi Standard, but the initial agreement was that we were to go together with them on everything that we did, basically. What we have now agreed is to make sure that we can address the interests that we see in other parts of the world independently from Scandi Standard. So it kind of gives us a little bit more freedom to maneuver, and that opportunity we're taking now, especially in Asia, where we're having license discussions on the meat alternative, which I'm looking forward to hopefully sharing with you in not too distant future what have become of those.
Okay, and when it comes to financing, the last time we talked, you were in a 3-step process for financing. Where are you in this process now?
Well, that process is the structure of that is still the same. So we went through the issue in December, January. Then the second step is directed issue, which is still in the plan, and then there's an option program that falls into place this summer. The only difference really is that the directed issue and the discussions that we've had have taken longer than we originally expected. So we've taken out a convertible loan with some of our key owners today, which is great in that they continue to support and believe in the business and what we're doing. We did that recently to make sure that we give ourselves a little bit more time to work on a directed issue, which we're still planning. And then the third step, which is the option program that falls into the summer. So the plan is as it was originally the case. We've stuck in between, so to speak, a loan program with existing owners to make sure that we can deliver on that plan that we had.
Okay, thank you. When it comes to the organization, you recently hired a new international sales manager. What is she contributing with?
It's a good question, Matthias, in that it's great to have a strategy, but if you don't have the resources, the capability, the expertise to implement it, then it doesn't go very far. So obviously, one core element of the strategy was internationalization, and doing that with distributors and partners, and in some exceptional cases, direct, so to speak. And we needed the resource to start implementing that. So we have a person who's come on board just in the last 4 or 5 weeks. She's already made a strong impression, really multiplied the level of discussions that we have internationally. One of the reasons is that she spent almost 5 years with Oatly previously, and have done much of the work back in 2015, 16, etc. for them in internationalizing their business, so to speak. So she's come in, action from start one, so to speak. No need to really get up and going. And I'm sure that is something that we will contribute from, or that we'll harvest from, so to speak, in the coming year.
Okay, thank you so much, Fredrik, for your time, and I'm already looking forward to our next interview within 3 months.
Well, me too, and take care.